It all started as a trend. A harmless joke on social media, #TikTok economy. Influencers pretending to run the world, setting viral challenges as financial policies. People played along, making memes about what life would be like if TikTok stars controlled global markets. But then, something unexpected happened. A new financial app, backed by millions of TikTok users, started gaining traction. It was designed as a joke, a playful alternative to traditional banking. But within weeks, it wasn't just an app, it became a movement. Brands, investors, and even some governments took notice. Before anyone fully realized it, the 5 biggest influencers, Khaby Lame, Charli D'Amelio, Addison Rae, Bella Poarch, and Zach King, had built something powerful. Their followers weren't just fans anymore, they were an economy of their own. And that's when the real shift began. The question remained, what if TikTok influencers controlled the economy? At first, it seemed like a fun experiment. The TikTok economy ran on a new digital currency, Tokcoin, which people could earn through engagement. Likes, shares, and trends now had real-world value. Traditional economists laughed it off, calling it a bubble that would pop any day, but it didn't pop. It grew. Major brands, desperate to stay relevant with younger audiences, began accepting Tokcoin. Companies like McDonald's, Nike, and even Tesla announced that they would take payments in the new digital currency. Suddenly, it wasn't just TikTok users participating, it was everyone. And then, the moment that changed everything, a country recognized Tokcoin as an official currency. El Salvador, already a pioneer in digital finance, announced that Tokcoin would be legal tender alongside Bitcoin. Almost overnight, other countries started considering it. Banks scrambled to adjust, and traditional financial institutions realized something terrifying. They weren't in control anymore. Governments tried to regulate Tokcoin, but every attempt was met with online backlash. The influencers had the power of their audience, millions of people ready to protest, boycott, or simply meme any opposition into irrelevance. It wasn't just a currency anymore, it was a revolution. In response, traditional banks launched a counter-movement attempting to discredit Tokcoin. News anchors debated whether social media influencers could be trusted with something as serious as the economy. But the data spoke for itself. Tokcoin was stable, accessible, and, most importantly, popular. With influencers now at the helm of a global financial system, they did what they did best. They made things go viral. Charli D'Amelio introduced the dance tax, a system where people could lower their transaction fees by uploading dance videos. Overnight, millions of people were dancing to pay less for groceries. Khaby Lame, known for simplifying things, introduced the no-nonsense rule. Any company that overcomplicated their products or services would face higher transaction fees. Bureaucracy crumbled. Long contracts and fine print were replaced by simple, direct policies. Addison Rae focused on economic positivity. She banned negative financial news on TikTok's trending page. Stocks didn't crash, not because they weren't dropping, but because no one was allowed to see bad news. Bella Poarch, known for her silent yet impactful presence, introduced the quiet wealth policy. Flashy displays of wealth like luxury cars and designer brands were taxed at extreme rates, forcing influencers and billionaires to rethink their spending habits. And Zach King, he gamified the entire system. Financial transactions came with magic-like challenges. Completing them successfully could double your money, but failing them could reduce your balance. Meanwhile, a black market for traditional money emerged. People who didn't want to participate in the TikTok economy started using cash in secret transactions. Governments attempted to crack down, but with banks losing influence, Enforcing old laws became nearly impossible. There were winners and losers. A new generation of content creators flourished, becoming self-made millionaires overnight. Meanwhile, factory workers, teachers, and those outside of social media struggled. If you weren't trending, you weren't earning. At first, people loved the new system. It was fun, interactive, and gave regular users more power. The economy wasn't run by suits in boardrooms. It was shaped by trends, creativity, and engagement. But soon, problems emerged. Businesses struggled to adapt. CEOs were now forced to learn dance moves to keep up with the market. Some banks refused to integrate with Tokcoin and collapsed, leaving millions without savings. And worst of all, the system favored those who could go viral. People who didn't have a social media presence found themselves left behind, struggling in a world where influence was currency. Then came the great engagement crash. A sudden shift in the algorithm made engagement plummet overnight. People lost their earnings, their savings disappeared, and the once thriving Tokcoin economy spiraled into uncertainty. Governments that had adopted Tokcoin scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. Desperation set in. With no control over the algorithm, influencers found themselves powerless to stop the collapse. TikTok itself was blamed for the disaster, leading to mass boycotts and lawsuits. As Tokcoin's value crashed, people scrambled to return to traditional banking. The problem: many banks had already shut down or had converted to digital models, making it difficult to restore financial stability. People rioted, demanding answers. Governments had to act fast to prevent complete economic collapse. The influencers, realizing the system was failing, tried to fix it. KB simplified the economy again. Charlie removed the dance tax. Addison allowed financial news to be reported. Bella ended the quiet wealth policy. Zach stopped gamifying transactions. But the damage had been done. The TikTok economy had reshaped the world in ways no one had predicted. Months later, Tokcoin still existed, but it was no longer the dominant currency. Traditional economies recovered, but they had changed forever. Businesses now operated with more transparency, influenced by KB's no-nonsense policies. Governments adapted to digital finance thanks to Charlie's early innovations, and everyday people, they had learned that financial power didn't just belong to banks and billionaires, it could belong to anyone. As for the influencers, some went back to making content, others continued shaping financial policies behind the scenes, but they all knew one thing. For a brief moment in history, TikTok truly controlled the economy, and the world would never forget it.